little bit cool. We're expecting rain later today, maybe tonight. And Oklahoma, I'm in Oklahoma, and Oklahoma gets just enough rain to be like my backyard, green. Uh, we have grass and trees, and of course, you have a lot of agriculture. You go out in western Oklahoma, it is rolling flat with miles and miles of plowed fields, wheat fields, miles of them. So I'm sitting here thinking about the hippies. They got us halfway there because what they want is freedom, peace, love, and sex. Uh, uh, they don't want empire. They just want to be human beings. The thing is, they didn't know any. They don't know anything. Didn't and don't know anything about money, how it's created, and how it's used by those that create it now to control our lives. They they know that things aren't right, but they don't know why and what can be done. That's what the NEAT Act does. It'll tell you why, and it'll tell you what can be done. And so let's do the NEAT Act. Uh, yeah, that's what we need to do. Uh, it has three parts. It uh, sorry, I just had some things blow off the table. We got a little breeze going here today, and the thing that blowed off the table was Maurice E.M. Forrester's film or story, and about being homosexual in the World War I period, and someone remained who made the decision to overlook his natural feelings and be married, and his lover who uh, didn't take that route and and fell in love with a, a, a boy that was taking care of the horses and things on the property. And I've got the 4K version of it now, and hope to probably look at it a little bit this evening while it's raining. Uh, so, uh, yeah, the NEAT Act will enable freedom and peace and love and sex. That's what it will enable. You know, Karl Marx was a hedonist, and but he thought the solution was to democratize the workplace. He didn't know anything about money creation either. He didn't know that the way the money was being created uh, wasn't the way that it had to be created. Uh, uh, in the 1930s, uh, that's that's when we uh, got the Federal Reserve System. Uh, the English knew how money would be created, and they made sure that in America that we adopted the debt money system, where bankers create all the money. Um, and how they do that is real simple. You want a car loan? You go in, talk to your banker, and say, "Hey, Charlie, I saw this car down on the lot. I need this thing. Well, how much? About 40,000. So, okay, let's look at your credit. And, yeah, you got good credit. So let's fill out some papers here and get them signed. Uh, and okay, now that we've done that, uh, 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 Charlie, the banker, turns around to his computer and he punches it right there. Just punches it right there. Uh, and he created that money right then. So the banker has the power to decide who gets money and how much they get. And 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 they love war materials and airplanes and all that crap. They love that shit because it wears out and it needs to be replaced, and you just keep doing it over and over again. If you get in a war, it gets blown up, and you need to have more. So uh, they love that shit. And now the NEAT Act won't have to have war to have a reason to create money. Uh, or we won't have to have somebody coming in and needing that car down on the lot to have money. Uh, uh, we won't even have to own cars, okay? You could own cars. It doesn't make it, you could, but why would you want to do that whenever you can get on your cell phone like this and punch it and away and appears at your door the car that you need to go where you need, stay with you, and uh, take you and whoever else that needs to go with you. Uh, the, take them to the take them to Walmart and come back and why would you want to own a car and pay rent, pay uh, a car payment, pay taxes, pay all kinds of damn things? I flew, I flew, I flew airplane for many years, and I always enjoyed looking down from about 9,000 feet and seeing the highway patrol cars with their lights on, flashing and catching people. And there were no sheriffs up there in the sky. They couldn't get me. And I was on my way over their heads above them. And that's what the NEAT Act will do for us. We'll be up in the air over the bankers, over the ones that control our culture now. We'll be flying over them. They won't have no red lights reach us, no stopping us, no guns, no nothing. We'll just be flying right over them. And this legislation that's been introduced into Congress by former Congressman Dennis Kucinich of Cleveland, Ohio, is revolutionary. It's the only monetary reform legislation that's been introduced into Congress since uh, Hamilton and Washington introduced legislation that gave the power to create money to their friends. And Washington became the richest man in the new country, United States. Um, and we were on our way to murdering all the natives that lived in the North America. We're, with the NEAT Act, we won't be a murdering society like culture like we have now. We'll be able to live in peace and love and sex and freedom and all those moralists that decide how we should live. Fuck them. They live right up there at the Baptist church. They live everywhere. In fact, I'm I'm concerned that uh, we've waited too long uh, to uh, change our culture. Uh, that we humans have gone extinct. The hippies have gone distinct. We humans don't exist anymore. And uh, but well, we can't we can't not try to do something. And I suggest join the Extinction Rebellion. It's not just the climate change uh, that's going to cause storms and the oceans to rise and things. That might not happen, but our extinction is happening. Karl Marx warned us that it's happening. and and it is happening, and maybe it's already happened. I know I'm surrounded by people that are not human, hypocrites. Oh, Thaddeus Russell talks about, you know, the, the, the Pornhub keeps track of who's watching and the demographics and where they're at. 190 million adults a day uh, go to Pornhub. That's roughly the adult population of America. So we're doing these things, but we won't even talk about it. We won't even think about it. We won't allow thoughts to be spoken on what we do. But there's the facts. 190 million of us Americans go to Pornhub every day, and that's roughly the entire adult population of America. And if you say, "Well, it's not me," well, I'm wondering why the hell isn't it you? Why don't you just why don't you let yourself think about what is fucking human? Okay, so the NEED Act's going to give us the freedom and the power to be peaceful people, like they were at Marymount when Salem, the Puritans from Salem went over and destroyed their village, sent the leaders off to England and the natives back into the forest to be killed. Be sure, and because they're occupying this land and they're not doing anything with it. Well, fuck you. Okay, so let's. The NEAT Act does three things: nationalizes the Federal Reserve, puts it into the Treasury where it belongs, where we have control over it, because we can elect the senator, the executives, the president and the vice president. We can elect them, and they could be hippies. Okay, we could turn Washington D.C. into Woodstock, 24/7 every day. We could be it could be Woodstock. Well, who'd work? Well, there's always people that'll work, um, uh, and they could add to their income because they're going to get $50,000 a year. So that's what we could do. We could give them what minimum wage would be if it had kept pace with the increase in productivity, and that would increase every year as long as we increased productivity. There's plenty of people that like to do math and science and to keep us innovating and make themselves super rich. Let them be super rich, just so we get the technology. That's okay, no problem. So, okay, we nationalize the Federal Reserve, put it in the Treasury, and then we take the power of the bankers to create money away from them and give it to ourselves. And then the third step is we spend money that we create into the economy for things like healthcare, like education, like free transportation, like free housing. Yeah, everything can be free. Don't you understand? Everything can be free because creating money is free. Now, the Austrian uh, von Mises economists say, no, you can't do that, and they'll draw you equilibrium curves and explain to you why you can't do that. Well, you take those equilibrium curves and do like my professor at OU before Reagan took over said, take those damn curves and open those windows over there and throw them out on the lawn. And that's what we need to do with von Mises and his wonderful Austrian economics, which is just another way to keep you in debt and keep you enslaved to uh, the people that have designed this culture. This culture was created as far back as the 17th century to replace the feudal system, always putting somebody in charge of us. So uh, our plan is there. We'll figure what that is later. So uh, we can, uh, uh, yeah, Karl Marx was democratized the workplace. You know, democracy is a lot of fucking work, you know. So our plan is minimize the time that we spend in the workplace. And it can be minimized down to zero if that's what you want. And still you'd have a good income where you could be who you want to be, study what you want to study, uh, do what you want to do, travel where you want to travel, uh, uh, live where you want to live. It would all be paid for with money that costs nothing to create. So, and and tell Von Mises to fucking pack it, okay? Uh, you don't need him. Of course, I'm worried that Thaddeus Russell, the historian I like, has been bought off by those people. They fly him around the country. That's what he said the other day. They fly him around the country. So he's been bought. He just doesn't know it yet. I'm going to tell him. I'm telling you right now, Thaddeus, you fucking bought. And so, okay, so the NEAT Act nationalizes the Federal Reserve. It puts stops banks from being able to create money, and then we create money and we spend it into the economy for the things that we want. So we can have peace, love, freedom, and sex, and and the people and the moralists can pack it. Okay, I have a friend, an online friend down in Argentina that makes films with boys in it, village boys, and they were he sent a picture the other day where they were telling us what those boys think of the moralists and the PC correct people and the woke people. They had their asses hanging out of the bus. Yeah, that's what they thought. That's what they think about you people. And there are places where thinking freedom is happens. Okay, and I've decided to give him $5 a month because he's feeding these kids in a village that's so poor that and the COVID crisis has devastated the village, and he's raising money from us guys that like watching his movies. Yvonne Noel, wonderful man, and a creative filmmaker and a musician. That's what he is. Uh, plays the guitar, wonderful. So let's uh, let's occupy the need act. Let's create a new culture. Let's let our minds expand to what things could be away from what they are. You got to realize we're living in the matrix, a created culture that benefits, and we know it benefits. Now we've seen the billionaires getting more billions, while the rest of us are fucking out of work, and our children are I I can hardly stand it to think about what my grandchildren's are coming into. Damn. So okay, God, I've been on 20 minutes, and I was just going to talk too, and I'll see you again soon from Norman, Oklahoma. This is William, and let's see if I can get my thumb over here and punch end. Bye now.